Oh yeah, by the way, if you like what I'm doing, please hit the like button. And then if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Alright, back on the 65 horsepower Evinrude. Alright, so to update you where we left off, we got it running, we've changed the water pump, we adjusted the carbs, the link and sync, and we put it on the lake. It just didn't seem to really want to run. So lots of little problems. One, my timing light died. It wouldn't work. I think what the problem might have been was the fact that I tied the hots to the battery. And I think what we should have done was tied it to the solenoid. So it wasn't working. And I went through a little thing with it because I have two other timing lights. And I wanted to verify mine was working because I had another job here and I wasn't getting any spark. So what I did was I pulled up my other timing lights and I just wanted to verify that my light didn't go bad. All three timing lights weren't working on this job that I had going. I'm like, that's crazy. You know, maybe I have no spark. I don't know. So then I had my little red S10. I hooked it up and all three lights worked. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. It's working and it's fine because I just used it on the other Evinrude. All three lights actually worked on it too. But my good light that I just bought is, anyway, it's fine. So we're back to the Evinrude. So I lost my timing light on the lake. So then I'm trying to do it by ear. So we're at the marina and it's kind of, you know, we're at a dock. And I'm thinking, hey, they're going to run us out of here. But nobody was out there. It was cold that day, rainy. We got it to idle. And it seemed pretty good. Away we went. Well, as soon as we put it in gear, it died. So I adjusted the throttle some more and I got it where we were trolling. So we ended up going out of the marina into the lake. He gives it gas. We head up. Man, it's running pretty good. I told him, I said, well, let's go back. I don't want to go too far. So when we got back in, I was like, let's kill the engine. So we killed the engine. So the next thing we do, I tell him to go ahead and start it back because I wanted to see if it would idle back, start back, just the way it should. So he does that. It's kind of hard starting, but it started up. I said, all right, let's. So he puts it in gear. We start to go back the way we went. I said, well, hammer it. So he hammers it, and the linkage in the remote, it just locks up. So it won't shift. We've got it in gear. So at that point, we were kind of dead. I messed with it for a little bit, and we were so cold from being out there for a long time that we just decided to go ahead, trailer it, and then I would work on it. So fast forward. I got it set up now. I've checked my link and sync over again where we had our throttle. And then I'm ready to retime the motor. So I just want to check my timing on it because of that day and the circumstances, and make sure my timing light's working and see where we're at with our wide open throttle and with our throttle at idle. Got water going in the tub. I got it shifted now just fine, so I just need to. You can see I made some marks. Our other mark was at top dead center, and I got my timing light hooked up, and I can time it. Now the problem I'm gonna have right now is that I can't remote start it. I'm gonna have to set up my remote start switch in order to do this. Now I got my fuel disconnected. I've got my little butterfly thing to ground out the coils. I got my remote start hooked up. That's right on 0. Yeah, see that one's at like 22 in there. You can see it. There's a set screw. Like, see, there's a screw and there's a jam nut in front. You set it at 19, right? The way I'm doing it. See, when they did it back in the day, and they still do this, they have this prop they put on. There's a special prop you use to set your timing. But then they also want you to run this thing at wide open throttle at so many RPMs, which is crazy. So the second option is what some guys are doing, where you take, like I did, took the spark plugs out, you know, put my little wing nut thing, ground out the coils, disconnecting the gas, and then we're going to set this at like 22 degrees. With the theory, as it spins up, that it's going to end up on 19. I don't know. I mean, nobody's taking into consideration fuel. So the fuel they had back in those days was better than the fuel we got today. We haven't had lead in fuel for a long time. I think I'm going to leave it at 22, which is what I set at. I think it's a smarter thing to do. If somebody's got an answer there and they say, no, it's not, and then please tell me why, and then maybe I'll do it a different way. By the way, on the link and sync, you know, in the book, there's it shows the over the carburetor, we got like a weird looking piece. Kind of looks like maybe like Georgia or something, right? It's kind of like this and kind of curves. Anyway, there's an arrow, and you know, everybody always shows it pointing straight at the bushing. That's supposed to be idle. The arm is measured 4 and 30 seconds. If you do that, the mark and the cam, like here's the mark, here's the cam, they won't line up. So I've seen some other Evinrudes over time, and they've got that mark and then they have another mark. I don't know which one it has. This should be original. But when I did this engine before, that mark and the way the carbs are to open wide open throttle or at timing, that mark and the cam, when you line them up, it won't run. When I measure that 4 and 30 seconds, just above that in the middle of that plate, I think is where the mark is supposed to be. I don't know why that mark is there. When you do that, all of a sudden all the linkage and everything on the carburetor lines up. Alright, well, I lost audio again. I'm pointing where you measure from there over to the edge of that plastic piece is supposed to be 4 and 30 seconds. And if we look, there's that little piece, and down at the bottom is where a mark is. And they originally show, you know, that you line the cam up with that mark. But that will not work. Not on this engine. So what you want to do is like right there in the middle, I made another mark there in white. And that's where that cam lines up for the idle timing on this engine. And then a wide open throttle, you'll see up there where I point my finger, that's where wide open throttle will be. And then it'd be properly link and synced. So I'm not sure why that is. Obviously the book is absolutely wrong, and it was really quite an ordeal to try to figure this out. But we figured it out, and I was able to get the link and sync done, and also got the timing. It was dead on. For my day on the lake, it was dead on timing at idle. However, the butterflies were slightly open. I readjusted those butterflies, and once I did that so that they were closed, then it really did come to life. I'm just kind of fishing out here the fuel line so that I can pump up the bulb and then start my engine and run it. It was it was a process. So I hope this helps somebody, because that's gonna drive you nuts if you can't figure out where your timing marks are supposed to be. And I have no idea if this was the way it originally was, or like we moved, or I don't have a clue why that cam roller and the throttle plate there was different than what it should be. So maybe somebody knows. I don't know. But the good news is it's all timed out. It's running, and then I'm gonna have some video of us taking it out for a spin.